Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now.
Question is, do you think that Google is going to be successful with their takeover?
Their takeover of what?
With Congress. They're trying to pass a law where they're going to control the internet.
What?
Yeah. It's actually one of your feeds. It was one of your Twitter things. I couldn't believe it. It might have been yours, or it might have been maybe that other that network, that other person that the network hub. They do a lot of feeds.
Oh, LockerGnome.com.
Yes.
Okay. So, what are some details about this particular law?
Well, what they were going to do or try to do, and it's in. As far as I know, and I don't know much about it, it's in partnership with Verizon or one of those companies that they're trying to work with. And they're trying to pass something where they can, and they do it friendly, of course. You know, they put it in press and they try to, say, oh, we're going to make the internet better. But what they're really trying to do, a lot of people think, is they're trying to control the internet so they can control the products shown and all the advertising.
You're talking about net neutrality.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
If you would have said net neutrality up front, I would know what you were talking about. I thought you were talking about something like really nefarious, which it isn't to say that, going against the idea of net neutrality is nefarious in general. But certainly a tiered internet controlled by, just a few providers, I think is extremely dangerous. Extremely dangerous.
Yeah,
for all the
I
reasons
agree with you.
that you're likely concerned. I don't think it's in the nature of information to want to be controlled. Information generally wants to be free, and while I do agree that, we have to pay the piper in certain respects, I would not demand that I get everything in life for free. But at the same time, when we yield control to private interests, especially when it's access to information that's at stake, I become greatly concerned. So anybody who says that they are for net neutrality is good. That means neutral. Means it's everybody gets equal access. No one's necessarily in control. It's an egalitarian construct versus against net neutrality, which at one point in time, Google was for net neutrality. And now they're kind of getting taken to task for this particular alliance with Verizon. And no matter how much spin they try to put on it, well, what's the saying? You can't polish a turd, but you can make it shiny with glitter. So I think they're just putting glitter on a turd, quite honestly, with the spin that they're putting on it. I appreciate the services that Google provides, but I just don't think I want it ruling everything. Nor do I want any particular.
No.
And I'd say that with
monopoly, the internet monopoly.
And I'd say the
they're
same
already
thing.
Kind of an internet monopoly with advertising.
Well, and that's the thing. Even if some people say, "Oh, you love Steve Jobs," I'm like, even if Steve Jobs were proposing something so asinine, I'd say, "No, this is a stupid idea." Doesn't matter who proposes it; it's a dumb idea. When you
I couldn't agree more.
When you restrict
that way.
access and you specifically put it in the hands, okay, don't get me started really about how much private enterprise is a part of our public lives, because I feel the same way about voting machines. I believe that it is unconstitutional and, I think a violation of our own Bill of Rights when we put our, the right to vote in the hands of a private enterprise. I can't look at the code. Yeah. I wouldn't be able to make heads or tails of it, but I know that someone who couldn't look at the code. And so there's no way of verifying, no checks and balances. We're handing over our rights to private entities. And I would say, as some countries have come forward and said, that internet access could very well be a right. I've long said that I believe access to information, or pretty much the internet, is as much a part of Maslow's hierarchy of needs as anything else. Food and shelter are important. We need to survive, but to survive, we need access to information. So, yeah,
absolutely.
I'm not a fan of private enterprise getting into what should remain open and neutral. And for Google to sit there and claim that they're being open about everything, this is what makes me laugh when, oh, Google Android, it's open. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's being controlled by a private enterprise. It's not open. So,
Thank
anyway.
God you think so. That is refreshing to hear.
Right. Well, that's just my belief. My opinion. I'm sure people will agree and disagree with that. But I don't like the path that we start to walk down. The more and more we hand over our data to private enterprise. I mean, I tell people to watch out for Facebook, Google, Microsoft, Apple, all the big boys and girls. You don't want to give so much of your life over to, someone. If Facebook decided they didn't like me, all they have to do is go click, and I'm gone. If Twitter decided they didn't like me, click, I'm gone. If Google decided they didn't like me, click, I'm gone. And you tell me,
Yeah.
if I'm playing by the rules, I still, I'd have no recourse. Google isn't a public company. I mean, yes, it's public, but yes, a public company, but it's still private enterprise.
Yeah, exactly.
You own your identity, and until the machine gets it, we're still having to watch out for our rights. And I think access to that information in a neutral capacity is as much a part of our rights as global citizens. Not to say that our rights as American citizens, as global citizens. It's the way the world stays connected is the internet. Without it, this world would be a lot bigger. And I mean that, in the sense that, someone called earlier from Australia, and it was just like he was sitting right next door, or right next to me. Amazing. And that technology doesn't cost us outright a thing through services and healthy competition.